In a world where hopium and common sense collide, starring the CryptoKeeper and BlockchainCrusader. Welcome to Debate Crypto.
Question everything.
For us, nothing.
It's your boys.
Rusty.
Yeah, I've been off for a little while. It's your boys, Keeper and Crusader, and we have a special guest in the house tonight. Some of y'all have seen it on Twitter. We are super excited to have the one, the man, the myth, the legend, Ben Armstrong. Ben, how you doing this evening?
What's up? Doing great, man. Always wanted to be on your show, but you never invited me.
I know. We were like,
you invited me. It's a bad time. It's in the evening. I'm with my family. But glad to be on today.
Dude, I'm super excited you came on. We've had a great time over the last week. So Crypto fam, listen, normally we dive in, we look at the charts, we do all of that. We're actually going to kind of pivot a little bit this evening. We're going to use some good use of Ben's time because it is in the evening. He's got stuff to do, getting back to the family. So we're just going to dive right in. So Ben, we were down in the Bahamas for a few days together. Had a great time down there. Was super blessed to be able to go. In the background, before we went, so a lot of people know that we went, they saw it on Twitter, whatever the case may be. We originally were going down there to protest SBF, right? The fact that we needed him to be arrested.
Right.
We kind of had to pivot. Talk to me about why we ended up going down there when that pivot happened.
Yeah, my guy Crypto Blood in the house. What's up, Crypto Blood?
What up, Blood?
Yeah, look, it's very fascinating when you really break down everything that happened. We certainly were not going down to do what we did. We were going to protest, and we had this organized for a couple weeks. We were organizing this. We had some money to bring down investors, and we wanted to go down there and make a big scene and make a splash and put pressure on the government to arrest Sam. Well, Monday night, I was on the Alex Jones show last Monday, and Monday night we get the message that he's been arrested. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what are we going to do now? We've already paid for all the hotel rooms, paid for the flights. We got people coming down, and we didn't really know what we were going to do. And so we started trying to put together a plan. And, with the help of Lincoln Bain down here on the, down there on the Bahamas, boots on the ground, probably the next prime minister. We're going to help him be the next prime minister and then the president of the Bahamas. He said, look, here's what we need to do. Bring down these investors. Let's file criminal charges against Sam. Nobody has been down to, in this insane, no one has gone down to the Bahamas and filed criminal charges against SBF based on the fraud of FTX. So we did that. And of course, they gave us a runaround. We ended up kind of like similar to their FBI, I guess, who we actually had to report to. And so they gave us a runaround on Saturday. Well, an hour after we were there, Sam is suddenly waiving his extradition rights. And, he's going to go to the United States. Sunday morning, we go back in there. And Rebecca, we love Rebecca. She's awesome. She lost her money with FTX, and she filed the complaint, and it was official. And so then we started talking about what do we do next. The next step is a civil lawsuit, which I got the picture in my hand of the actual filed document where I have officially filed a civil lawsuit against Sam Bankman-Fried and against FTX in the Bahamas. And that's big. We can't really give you the game plan on that, exactly the goal of what that is. What I will tell you is, we are fighting for a way to be able to pay back people who lost in FTX a lot of their money back. Yeah.
So, and again, we're not going to get into the whys or kind of the background, but tell the people why had no one filed charges? We have a video of this, and Lincoln said it, and in the video, I'll probably show it later. I said in the background, I said that changes the whole thing. You were standing over by the refrigerator, and you said yes, it does. Why had nobody actually filed charges?
Because nobody in the Bahamas invested in FTX. Because there you go. What you don't know is that, people in the Bahamas are not allowed to gamble. And I don't mean residents. I mean native citizens, native Bahamian people. They are not allowed to gamble at the casinos. And they're also not allowed to invest in crypto. They're not allowed to invest in FTX. So when you look at this 1,500 names that the money went to for the Bahamian people that got, that were able to get access to pulling their funds off ahead of everybody else, these were government politicians. These were not people on the, they're not people that were just regular folks on the island. That's why nobody had filed the charges, because everybody who received the money and everybody who was in FTX, they're in on the scam.
Yeah, they had the. I thought it was fun. I thought it was funny because you heard the news basically suggesting that Bahamians were all getting their money off of the exchanges, and they gave them a day heads up, and this, that, and the third, and it was all Fugazi. None of it.
Yeah, you thought some random guy was getting $17 off FTX. Nope.
Yeah,
that wasn't happening.
So Ben, tell me about the extradition hearing. I've been hearing it from Keeper, right? Talking about there was a stare down, right? What happened there? How was it being in there?
Oh
and,
man,
just
it was
seeing
awesome.
it happen.
It was so.
Dude, we didn't think we
awesome.
were going to get in, did we, Ben? At first, they were being.
We thought they were going to keep us out. We thought they were going to keep us out.
Wow.
And I will tell you, my guy Jeffrey, who was my bodyguard, who was Sam's previous bodyguard, which was really cool that they were our bodyguards.
Yeah.
So he told me that, basically there were people there, officials, even from the United States, that were telling them to keep an eye on me because they didn't know what I was going to do. They wanted a reason to send me out. They want
you were gonna jump over and grab Sam and put him in a chokehold or something,
shave his head, But I mean, ultimately, I think really what the Bahamas is about appearances, is what the government's about. And if they had kept me out, that would have been a much bigger story than just let me in. And I think that's really why they ended up letting us in and letting us, watch the trial. Well, we walk in, and one of the ladies that was with us from the documentary film crew, she heard him say this. I saw him say it. He was basically standing. I walk in, and his lawyer's like right here in front of him, and he's kind of whispering to his lawyer, and then he looks up like this, and he sees me, he goes, "Bitboy is here." Like, that's, to me, getting him saying that was absolutely phenomenal. So we had a moment where we stared, and he definitely smirked like, "Yeah, I know you're here." And so then when we had the hearing, he came in, and then he sat to the left right before the first break that we had, and he was right within eye shot of me, and I just looked at him, and I just waved at him just like this, and it was really really validating. I guess validating is probably not the right word. I'm trying to think of the right. It was very self-actualizing to be able to be there and feel that from him, that he knows that we're after him and we're going to continue to be after him and we're not going to let him off the mat. That's what this lawsuit is about. And he gets no free passes with me. He tried to steal one of my politicians for my bill, and he's going to live to rue the day that he did that.
And it was funny too, Ben, because looking down, like when you look down the aisle, I think when the first part of the hearing before we got adjourned, I think I was like 3 seats down from you. I got on this big Bitcoin 2021 shirt. So and then the girl sitting next to me used to work in the FTX office. So he knew who she was, blonde broker, right? So I know what happened. He looks at you, he's like, "Oh, good God. Andy's got a squad with him. He's got the Bitsquad with him." Like, he knew that the crew was with him, and he knew the blonde broker had flipped. I thought he knew she flipped.
She's on Team Bitboy now.
Yeah, no doubt. So, dude, we're in the courtroom.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Crusader.
No, go ahead. Talk about the experience.
So we're in the courtroom. A lot of this Crusader hasn't heard, by the way. This is all fresh for him. I've been trying to edit some videos and whatnot. So we're in the courtroom, and it kicks off. I remember 3 or 4 times, Ben, looking over, like locking eyes with you, like, what the heck is going on, right? Talk to me about how that opened up. I thought it was like a freaking movie.
Yeah, well, I want to give a shout out to my guy Crypto Billy, because he said that getting me to say his name is like me getting Sam to say my name. So there you go, Crypto Billy. Look, I was like a kid in a candy store. Like, tell him about the smile that was on my face. Like, I could not.
Oh my gosh. Yes, it was like it was the Christmas. It was the 6-year-old Christmas morning smile, is what it was. It was. Like,
it really was, man. Like, it felt so great being there. It felt so great. Checking out what's going on, and then the trial starts, and you're like, holy crap, what is going on? They keep referring to this mysterious document, to this mysterious thing that happened over the weekend. The lawyers are like speaking in code, and like, here we call the judge your honor. Down there, they call him your worship. So like, your worship, your worship, your worship, your worship. And it's just like, it was so surreal being there, understanding the history that was unfolding, and then realizing that the document they were talking about was Rebecca's report, and what happened over the weekend was us filling the criminal charges. But that's pales in comparison to what we're doing with the civil case. But it was really cool to be there and play a part in it. And look, he got extradited today. He's back in the United States. He's probably going to get out on bail. But at least for one more night, we got to send him back to the Bahamas jail, where he was absolutely miserable, and kind of feel the weight of what he had done.
Yeah. So that leads me into my question, right? So like, for the people like me and everyone else that doesn't really know what's been going on, what was that play about arresting him early, right? A lot of people were speculating he was him trying to get away from, the court hearing here in the United States, and then they were, going to arrest him or whatever. And now he actually wants to be extradited. Yeah. What do you think happened there that made him say, "Hey, get me out of here. I'd rather go to the US"? Like, what was happening?
Well, I mean, I don't know what leverage he has, to be honest with you, because he's out of money. He doesn't have any friends anymore. He crapped all over politicians, so they don't have his back anymore. He's got no money to offer them in the future. The only thing I can figure here is that because what this all is about is bail. That's what this entire thing is about. It's about bail. He didn't think he could get bail to get extradited, and he was able to not, as long as he did not waive his extradition rights, he was going to end up staying in the Bahamas for a long time. But he got in there and realized, well, this is tough. I think I would rather go back to the United States and face what I've got there and try to get bail and be out for maybe a year or two before I get sentenced. And who knows what he might do. Maybe he'll try to take off. Maybe he'll try to run. He can't go to Dubai. He can't go to the Bahamas again. He can't go to Hong Kong. So I don't know where he might try to run off to. I don't think he is going to run. I don't think he is a flight risk at this point. But he is very unpredictable. And that's something that people also have to understand is, nobody knows exactly what he will do. I talked to one of his very close lawyers. They said the same thing. They said, he's unpredictable. I have no idea what he'll do. He lost a ton of them out of their lost a ton of lawyers from FTX because he just kept incriminating himself over and over again, and they didn't want to have any part of it. So I think ultimately it boiled down to the bail, but there had to be something that he offered in lieu or in order to get that bail. So I'm not sure. I mean, my look, his parents were not at the hearing. I'm not sure.
No, they weren't. I was amazed. I couldn't believe it.
Oh, I wanted to say something to them so bad. Like, they're the ones I wanted to confront.
You could have talked to them.
Dang right. But I think at the end of the day, I think they're the only people he can sell out. I think Dan Friedberg and the parents are the only people that he could possibly sell out. So if he does that, it'll be absolutely, ground shaking if he narcs out his own parents. But his parents have been trying to basically keep him, keep himself incriminating so they don't go to jail. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, so Michael in the chat, shout out to Mr. Evan Chick, always here. Appreciate you, brother. Said maybe because his cellie was a 300-pound man who likes to, quote, cuddle at night.
Well, people need to understand he never.
That's what I was about to say. Go ahead. Talk about that, Ben. That's what I was going to bring up.
Well, he stayed in a cell close to the infirmary the entire time, and he was actually, from what I've been told, he was getting his food brought in separately too. So he wasn't even eating the Bahamas food. And there were a bunch of drug dealers that did not like that unfair treatment. And they certainly were not going to let him in gin pop. He was probably going to get killed.
Yeah, so I was talking to Lincoln a little bit on the last day before I left in the morning. Actually, I think I texted you about this.
Yeah,
Ben.
you did. That's right.
And ultimately, he told me that there was literally high profile drug dealers that are and have been in that jail that didn't get the preferential treatment he did. So there was still something going on there, right? And we're going to talk about that a little bit later on in the show, kind of how the wheels look like they've been greased and what happened overall. But ultimately, to be able to get your meals brought in, because from what I understand, a lot of the other prisoners are crapping in a bucket, right? So it's not good conditions, right? He was in the infirmary or right next to the infirmary. So they definitely gave him some preferential treatment. Here's my question, Ben. What's he going to do in the United States? Now, is this real question? Do you believe, or would you be surprised if something happened to him like a lot of other people?
Yeah, I would be surprised. And the reason is I don't think he knows as much as people think that he knows.
Okay.
Now, he definitely was involved in the scam. He knows where all the money is hidden, I believe. He knows where a lot of it is. But guys, this is not a sophisticated organization. This was a very, very, very sloppy scandal conspiracy from the very beginning. We have Dan Friedberg on tape admitting not tape, obviously it's 2022. But we have Dan Friedberg on video admitting to counterfeiting coins, right? Like, we've got tons of video, tons of audio, these people just admitting all kinds of stuff that you would not think that a sophisticated organization would do. And so because of that, I just don't know how much really he knows that can be damaging to anybody other than Dan Friedberg and his parents. And unless his parents off him, I just don't think there's anybody there to do it. Caroline's flipped on him. So that takes away a lot of his leverage. Sam Trabucco's hiding out in Maine. He's going to be called to the carpet at some point. He doesn't have any power to get anybody killed. I want to be very clear. I say this all the time, guys. People say, oh, this is all a Democratic fundraising scheme. And, the Clintons are involved in it. Guys, if the Clintons were involved in it, then this would never have happened. This wouldn't have blown up overnight. You would never know. Like, this would not be a thing where politicians everywhere had egg on their face for supporting Sam. Anything the Clintons are involved in, as you guys know, is very sophisticated, and it's very it's hard to get to the bottom of what happened. this is easy. It's easy to figure out what happened. So we don't think the high ends of the Democratic Party were involved in this or anything. You just had some low level, lobbyists or people who had a PAC, political action committee, which were his parents, that were trying to push a narrative and raise money for the Democratic Party. But this isn't a conspiracy that goes up to the highest levels of the government or anything like that. I think we've got a lot of evidence to support that. And like, I just want to go back once again, the fact is, the idea that this blew up overnight, that tells you it wasn't sophisticated and it doesn't go very far up a tree. So I just don't think there's anybody out there with really the motivation to take Sam out, to be honest with you.
Do you think that the politicians are going to give the money back? I know that's been a question.
They have to.
Thrown out the White House.
They will. They have to. There's no question about it. They're coming after that money. There's 0% chance they're going to be able to hold on to any of that money. And some of them were trying to give it away to other charities. That's not going to work either, because what you're doing is you're giving away a user's money,
somebody else's
charity,
funds. Yeah.
Somebody else's funds. So that's not going to work. It's all going to be having to give it back. And I do believe that ultimately this is how Joe Biden ends up not running again. I've been told that Gavin Newsom is going to be the candidate. Gavin Newsom said he's not going to be the candidate, but Nick Saban also said, I'm not leaving the Dolphins. Bobby Petrino said, I'm not leaving the Falcons. And then, the next day they all leave. So I definitely think that, it's going to be very interesting to watch. The House Reform and Oversight Committee that is now taken over by the Republicans, it was led by the Democrats. The last 4 years, what did they focus on? Trump collusion, January 6th.
Yep.
The money trail, the Ukrainian money laundering, the Democratic donations, FTX. This is the new January 6th. This is the new Russian collusion. This is going to be what the House is going to be going after for the next 2 years. So don't expect this to go away anytime soon.
Yeah. And,
right. Yeah.
I hope you're right as well. My concern is that in a lot of these court cases, they drag these out and drag them out and drag them out and drag them out. And as they do, with my dad being an attorney, he's always taught me that, like, the farther that you get away from something happening, the better chance you have of the sentence not being so severe. Do you think that he was a patsy? Do you think that there was an actual play, or do you genuinely believe that this was an irresponsible 30-year-old that became a billionaire overnight, that was manipulated by other people around him and just truly didn't know really the inner workings of his company? Because I know, as a business owner, I don't know all the things that my accountant does. I don't know all the things and where money is, and neither do you, right? So my question is, do you think that he was a patsy, or do you think that there was more of a sophisticated play here?
I think he was set up to be a fall guy. I think that's what he was. He was set up to be a fall guy. If you look at Dan Freeberg's history with Ultimate Bets, that's what they used. They used a fall guy to take the heat for the entire scam. And SBF has been set up to be the fall guy here. The parents are the puppet masters. We call Dan Freeberg is the architect. The parents are the puppet masters. They're the one that orchestrated this entire thing. They kept him doped up and brainwashed from the time he was a kid, set up to do something crazy like this. And this is what he did. Look at the brother Gabe. He's involved also with a big PAC and has a gigantic house in Washington, D.C. It's kind of the same scam. I think I know more about what was going on at FTX than Sam does. I do believe that. Yeah. But I will say he did know enough, and he knew about the commingling of funds, and he knew Alameda was given the pass. He knew they didn't have the liquidation point. So he knew enough for sure
to be culpable.
Yeah, but this is a very small scam, guys. This is not a gigantic organization of 50 people that were involved in this. I believe there's probably 8 to 10 people: the parents, Dan Freeberg, SBF, Gary Wang, Caroline Ellison, Sam Trabucco, Ryan Salame didn't even know. When Ryan Salame found out, he was the whistleblower. So I think you're really looking at a tight group, about 8 to 10 people that knew what was going on. Yeah. And, it's somebody, Karen says here, I saw this chat, talk about evil people who do this to their own child. 100%. That's what I've said from the beginning.
Yeah.
So do you think they're going to drop the hammer like hard on Sam, or are they going to, give him kind of a pass, because kind of seeing it that he is the fall guy, and maybe they'll just kind of, go after somebody else, the bigger fish?
Yeah. Well, it depends on if they get Dan Freeberg. If they get Dan Freeberg charges, that's going to be really great. That's what we want to see. He is the architect of this whole thing. He's the one who's, in my opinion, the most responsible, him and the parents. But I would say ultimately, I do believe Sam gets, I put a poll out on Twitter on what people think. And it was very interesting seeing the results. They were very, very split between 0 years, 1 to 5 years, 5 to 20 years, and 20 years plus. I tend to believe he's going to get somewhere in the 10 to 20 year range. When you look at Elizabeth Holmes from Theranos, was a big scandal in Silicon Valley. She got 11 years. It was a much smaller scam money-wise, but it did involve health and people getting, shots and drawing blood and stuff. So there was some HIPAA stuff there. So I think that's probably pretty comparable. And look, I think if he gets 10 to 20 years, I think that's probably sufficient enough for me. I mean, he's going to be way punished. He's never going to be able to do the stuff he did before. And, his name's ruined forever.
Yeah,
But
so
is he
Crypto
going to
Fam,
a fancy jail, though?
What's that?
Probably.
Is he going to a fancy
Oh, for
jail?
sure. Yeah, he's definitely going
Probably.
to a fancy jail. That's why I want to see him in the Bahamas. Every day in the Bahamas was equal to 100 days in regular jail.
Oh, yeah, I'll bet. Well, Crypto Fam, stick around. We are going to actually dive in deeper. We've got some video and things of that nature, so I want you to definitely stick around. We're going to dive even deeper. I know Ben's got to jump off here. Ben, let me, first of all, thank you again. We appreciate you for coming on. Let me ask you as you step off, what can we do as the crypto space to push forward in the right direction?
Yeah, I would say, look, we have a bill coming out. It's registered. It's going to be public very soon. I know I've talked to you about what it is.
Yep.
It's going to be groundbreaking. It's going to be exactly what is needed in crypto. I just ask for, as this bill becomes public, that everybody supports it. It's going to be the crypto regulation that is really going to set us up for the next 20 to 30 years in this space. And I really hope we're going to get it passed. And we'll get I believe fully we'll get the support of the community. Also, check out my book, Catching Up to Crypto. Tomorrow, we have a 24-hour sale on Books A Million. It's a flash sale. You get 50% off if you buy the book tomorrow. Catching Up to Crypto on Books A Million.
Dude, Ben, you're doing so much in the space. You are the voice of the people. We thank you very much for coming on, and we'll chat soon, brother.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
All right,
have a good night.
See you, man.
All right. So that was the one and only Ben Armstrong, Bitboy Crypto. Dude, I love Ben. It's funny. He gets so much crap, right? And it's one of those things where you're a polarizing.
It always happens
individual.
when you're number one, dude.
Yes, number one, absolutely. And it's frustrating because I know him. We know him on a personal level, right? This is somebody I've spent a lot of time with, and he genuinely wants the best for everybody. There was a large amount of money that was donated, and we're going to dive farther into this right now. There was a large amount of money. Let me kind of back up. There's a large amount of money that was donated to the Hit Network to ultimately take down a group of what they asked for, high-profile influencers combined with people who lost money to protest. When you heard Ben talk about how that kind of flipped and that changed, and we had to then go kind of at a different angle. So I can't divulge like the whys, but there is effectively the lawsuit allows certain things to happen in the background. So we went down there to file a lawsuit. Bro, we get down there to file this lawsuit. We got a whole group of us. There's news we got cameras all over the place, news, whatever. We go into what's effectively their federal crimes, their FBI office effectively. And there's a ton of us, and we're going in. When we come back out, there is a man out front. I'll have to show you this video sometimes. I did not pull this one up because it's like 20 minutes long, but he is screaming about how basically the guy that we were with, Lincoln Bain, is not what he says he is, and the current, administration is so fantastic and blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you why that matters. So Lincoln Bain, come here, Boogie. Come say hi real quick, okay? She's got on her little Christmas outfit. Come here. Oh. Addison wants to remind everybody to get your hardware wallet and also maybe get some hair product because the little bit of hair she has is calicked up, baby.
Be your own bank. Don't get FTX.
Be your own bank. Don't get FTX. I love you, baby. Good night. So Lincoln Bain, he is what the very likely soon to be, if you talk to all of the locals in the Bahamas, the prime minister. And then when Ben said, and then president, they have a prime minister is what the Bahamas has. He wants to flip that to an actual president. So there's some technicalities there of what a president can do versus a prime minister. But ultimately, the people believe he's going to be the prime minister. He was with us. His security detail was with us. We had a security detail with us. It was wild. We're at the casino, and we literally, at all times, either at dinner or the casino or whatever, we've got a triangle of 3 different security with the sunglasses on, standing there like in the suit. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, they've got the earpiece in. So everybody wants to know, right? And especially when Ben wasn't with us, we've still got a security detail on us, and everybody wants to know who are those guys? Who are those people? You know what I mean? So it was fun, But ultimately, he is what I would say to be incorruptible. That corruption goes so deep in the Bahamas, and this is where it goes. So let me tell you this. Play that video first of all. Let's start there. We got a little video from this is me taping this in the kitchen at the Airbnb, talking to Lincoln Bain. So backdrop is that this is Lincoln Bain talking to us about some of the stuff in the Bahamas.
When it comes together, when we have real investigators look at all of this, it is the Bahamian government that is complicit in this. Yeah. And we need to end this corruption now. We've had enough of this. Yeah. And this is the opportunity for the real Bahamians to stand up and say enough is enough. Yeah. It's like we're in the middle of a cult. We had the leaders say, listen, I know the leaders having sex with all the children, but you're gonna mess everything up if you talk. Just be quiet. Yeah. And that's what we're in the middle of. And there's a chance for people who believe in justice to help us stand up and fight these corrupt dogs and get them out of office. Yeah.
Well, and then you give us a blueprint for the United States, how we do it there too.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Because that's it. The corruption's over. We're in it.
Yeah. So I'm so glad that all of you guys are here. Yeah. And so we're going to make this happen.
Yeah.
So ultimately, the Bahamas has been a place of like corruption for a long, long time. You could go into a bank down there and take a bunch of cash. Let's just say maybe you robbed a bank in the US or somewhere. You could take it into the bank and openly do this, by the way. Walk in, talk to one of the bankers and say, hey, what kind of a percentage are you going to charge me to open an account and put a large amount of cash that's, off the books? And they will do it. Okay. So corruption runs rampant there. And so what Lincoln was telling us is that Sam fled to the Bahamas. He knew that he was going to be under bankruptcy proceedings, right? That was going to happen. Once he knew that was going to happen, he needed to hide some money somehow. So he took, I think it was somewhere around $180 million worth of crypto, whether he, actually created more tokens, that's kind of still up for dispute. But he took effectively around $180 million and bought property in the Bahamas and put it in a number of different shell companies. And those shell companies were owned by different politicians. This is a very common practice down there. Okay. Normally, you can trust the Bahamians to just safeguard your property and you are the benefactor of the property when it sells down the road or whatever the case may be. Well, in this case, what it looks like is they realized that Sam was going to dime all of them out. So that's why he got arrested, I guess is what I'm getting at. He didn't get arrested. We were talking about it, Crusader, and we said, the American government did not want him to testify. So boom, they arrested him. No, that's false. We were wrong about that. The Bahamian government did not want him to testify, which is why they went and got him immediately because they knew he was supposed to testify the next day.
Well, that's a smart move. I just want to say, after watching that video for the first time and hearing him speak in that video with the things he was saying, I think Lincoln's been watching the show and been hearing me talk about XRP. That's all I'm going to say. I think he's been watching the show and secretly is a fan of my speeches about XRP.
It is never ending with you. Oh my God.
I mean, the similarities are there.
Sin City Crypto in the house. Hola, que pasa, way? Yeah. So ultimately, Billy wants to know if I was wearing my vest.
No, he was undercover.
Yeah, that's right. I was undercover. Let me take a quick pause. Make sure that you guys are following Danger Close Alpha. Make sure that you are part of the Discord. Make sure that you have smashed the likes. Do all of the things that we ask you to do. We got a giveaway to do. We're going to do that for sure. Dope. Excited about that. I think we've sold 1,100 NFTs. So continuing to do that would be a big thing so that we can give away the 5 Ethereum. So dangerclosealpha.com. If you want to go mint, check that out. Make sure that you're following us. And for those of you that don't know, maybe that are new, we're wearing these vests. It is it's our new thing, right? This is what we use for marketing. It says Keeper and Crusader on the back of the vest. We wear them to the events. And this is the Danger Close Alpha family. We're gonna try. We got some people that want some of the vests. We're trying to figure out a way, everybody. Okay, we're trying to figure out a way to be able to sell these vests because they're not cheap, so we can't just. I mean, we'll do rent. We'll do a rent. We're going to do a giveaway, I think, after 2,500 and give one of them away. But these might have to be something that we sell. But just be a part of the DCA fam. Do what you can. Get yourself an NFT. Get the opportunity to win 5 Ethereum. That's what the vests are about. So make sure to get involved in that. Okay, so the corruption goes really deep is what I'm getting at. And they did not want him to testify on behalf or for the reason that they knew that they were going to be put on the spot, that they were going to put the heat to him. So what did they do? Lincoln, because he's very well connected, because he's going to be the next prime minister, it looks like, says he has connections that told him that they not only arrested him and hemmed him up, but they effectively turned their back on him and just kind of threw him to the wolves, saying, yeah, what property? What property? So, like, the $100 and something million worth of property that he thought he was hiding, they're saying, what property? Now, the good news is, and this is one thing that, we signed some stuff on, I can't get into details. The good news is there's a paper trail. That's all I'll say. There's definitely a paper trail there. And so we are working to make these people whole. I want to say to anybody and everybody that's lost money, the people that did come down there, we're going to post a video. I've got about a 10-minute video that I did down there. We love you guys. I'm so sorry that you guys lost money. It's a reminder as to why we want you following after the crypto ethos, which is be your own bank. Self-custody is where it's at. So yeah, the corruption runs high and low in that area, and Lincoln Bain wants to come in and absolutely wipe that out and change the
yeah, dude. I was gonna say about the paper trails, like there's no way you can hide real estate unless you're buying a bunker and hiding in there. You're gonna find it, right? There's no way you're not gonna be able to find that real estate deals and all the backdoor stuff. There's always a paper trail when things like that are happening. So it's only a matter of time, and hopefully they do, take that property back, do what they need to do, and hopefully the people that did lose money in the FTX situation are able to retrieve some portion of it, whether it's through the donations from the politicians giving them back, or maybe reselling the properties that were used, whatever that looks like. Hopefully they can receive some money back.
Yeah, dude. One of the people that was with us, she lost, and she talks about this in the interview that I did. I think effectively at the top, like $1.4 million. It was her whole life savings. She lost her house. She lost her retirement. She lost everything. And it broke my heart, dude. I literally, like, beautiful woman, probably, I would say she's in her 50s. And man, like, hearing her tell this story was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking for all of them. We had people that lost $75,000, somebody that just lost a few $1,000s, somebody that lost, somewhere in between there, somebody that lost,
the amount,
whatever. It doesn't matter though.
Yeah, the amount doesn't matter because the amount is relative to the person, right? Like somebody could have lost $1 million. That could be maybe just 10% of their portfolio. But somebody could have lost $5,000, and that was everything they had. Their entire life savings was that. And yes, 5,000 is a small number compared to $1 million, but how much did that 5,000 mean to that person compared to the other person? So it's like, that's why the amount doesn't matter. What matters is they lost money in a scam that meant a lot to these people.
Yeah, so ultimately kind of fast forward and we get to the morning to where all of a sudden we find out Sam's got an extradition hearing. I pushed my day. I stayed an extra day because I wasn't going to be able to make my flight and be at that hearing. And I was like, you know what? I'm down here. Not a chance that we're going through all of this that we've been through and not going to sit and, sit 5 feet from Sam and like see his face, have him look at us and like, you know what I mean? Like I needed to do that. And I'm glad that I did. I felt like we were representing the people there. Ben was totally right in terms of the look. I mean, it was exactly that. It was, oh crap. Like he literally is not only here, but he's got people with him. And you know what I mean? You could just tell, like he knew this is not good. But ultimately he was scared to death. I heard him lean over to his attorney, arguing with this attorney, saying, no. You've got to get me out of here today. Okay. And this is under good conditions because he was in the infirmary, right? They were giving him already preferential treatment. And he said, you got to get me out of here today. And so, yeah, you could definitely tell he seemed flushed out. It seemed like he wasn't like eating like he normally would. He was doing this thing where he would like turn his like hands over like this. And it was really strange, right? It is a autism spectrum like thing that I've seen before when they're under a lot of stress. So you could tell, I think he knew I'm in trouble, right? So fast forward to they adjourn. The attorneys are acting as if they both don't know why they are there, which is a big load of hogwash. You don't get your client. It was funny. The judge said, well, listen, your client, Mr. Bankman-Fried, was remanded to the prison. He didn't walk. He literally said this. He didn't walk here. right? Like he got there for a reason. One of y'all had him here, if not both. You know what I mean? You guys had a discussion. There's a reason that your client is sitting in front of us today. So the court adjourns, whatever. When we go back outside for him to leave, they've got SWAT, they've got armed vehicles, they've got a multiple, like a train of vehicles. Can you play real quick from Twitter, Crusader, that clip?
Yeah,
a lot of people have already seen this, but ultimately this is a clip of us outside saying, you know, actually somebody told me like, it's not funny. Like I don't know why you guys, basically somebody suggested or thought that we were actually like waving him goodbye. Like, you know, we miss you, Sam. Like, sorry. I was like, no. This is a very sarcastic, like tongue in cheek type of goodbye. So yeah, can you play that real quick? I want to show him leaving.
All right, here we go.
Dramatic pause.
No, I was just preparing. I wasn't ready yet.
My fault. All right, so here is him leaving the courthouse. This is Ben. I'm taking Joe.
Second vehicle.
Sorry.
All right, here he goes.
Yeah, so you know what? It was you know, some people would say that it's really mean that we're sitting there, you know, making fun of somebody that's probably going to go do all this time in jail. Well, it's also really mean for you
to scam people out of money,
people out of their life savings, right? I had a woman standing right behind me as I'm waving that lost $1.4 million. So I got over it real quick about not feeling so, you know, bad about that.
Yeah, man.
So,
People take it like I've seen quite a amount of tweets about that, about like sympathy for Sam, right? Like, oh, you know, he's already had it so rough, yada yada. It's like, is it because you don't visually see all the people that have been hurt by this that you think that okay, just because he was there arrested for a few days in the Bahamas and it was rough, that's it, that's enough, right? Give him 1 or 2 years or 10 years, whatever it is, and that's enough. It's like, no, this guy has hurt hundreds of people worldwide that have lost their life savings, whatever it is. And yes, you know, investing is about risk management, but it was through a scam. He literally purposely scammed the people out of their money. It's not something like, hey, the investment just went bad, right? It sucks. Okay, cool. We're all mad at him, but it wasn't his fault. But it is his fault. He purposely stole people's money. So there's no reason to feel any sympathy. You can't feel bad for somebody when they purposely did something that they knew had massive repercussions if they got caught, and now they got to pay for it.
You can forgive, but it doesn't mean that you're going to forget. And I think it'll take some time. Rebecca, the woman that I was talking about, that's, you know, been all over the news and whatnot, she has told me she's a Christian. And one of the things she said was like, she really wants to forgive. It's going to take some time, right? She knows she'll be able to. She's working through that, whatever. And I think it's a huge thing for her to even think about that right now, right? So I know, you know, what she's...
Let me tell you, man. Go ahead.
Oh, you're saying forgiveness isn't on your plate?
Let me just tell you, if I lose $1.5 million or whatever it is, my life savings on this guy, that's going to be between him and Jesus. I ain't forgiving nothing.
You're going to send him to go see some Jesus.
Yeah, you want some forgiveness? I'll go send you to the guy that's going to give you some forgiveness.
I'll send you and you can find your forgiveness. Yeah. And so that morning, as we're standing outside, we had a bunch of news. So we had the New York Times. So I got interviewed by New York Times. I just have a quick story about this. New York Times, Bloomberg, CNN, the AP, and Reuters. So those are the 5 news outlets that I got interviewed by. And I haven't scoured or searched to see who printed what. But what I do know is that I thought about it afterwards. Y'all know Keeper, right? I can't keep the politics out of my mouth, and most of my politics are pretty heavily conservative. And so I made sure to let each and every one of those news outlets know about the level of corruption that also flows into and around, you know, some of the stuff that was going on with Ukraine and the Democratic Party, and stuff that Ben was talking about, that he said he didn't think it actually like went up that high level, but that it was involved. And I want to make sure that everybody understands that it was involved. Ben's just saying that he doesn't believe that it was a conspiracy that ran all the way up the chain that high. It was more his parents knew, hey, here's a way where we can move funds from point A to point B to point C, and it can benefit everybody, I think is kind of what he was getting at. And so what I did notice is that the liberal media that I was talking about didn't quite appreciate old conservative keeper slamming on. And actually at Reuters, I actually said and I was live at that point on there, I actually said the liberal media doesn't want you to hear this. And then after I said it, I was like, that's a win right there. Standing in
live,
front
like
of
on their
yeah, that was
stream,
on Reuters.
live?
They asked me, well, I mean, they asked me, can we go live with this? I have not seen the replay yet, but ultimately, yeah. And I said, the liberal media does not want you to hear this.
It's just a bunch of edits. Beep beep. Man, this guy was just cursing the whole time.
Yeah, they put like a headline on like crypto crazy has a few things that like, you know what I mean, like the conspiracy theorist speaks or whatever.
Kenton with the super chat, man, greatly appreciate. Says Keeper getting famous.
Ken,
Gonna get a posse soon.
Ken, you know what? I'm disappointed, man. I already thought I was famous, so
you know how it is, right? He goes in the media tours. I stay behind and do the actual work.
The actual work. That's right. I get to hang out and party and see what's going on, and Crusader does all the work. Yeah, so dude, I'm glad I went. It was ultimately a great experience. I think that it was history that we saw being made there in a very unfortunate way, but it was history that was made. We did have some fun while we were down there, but I really want to stress and impress upon people that this is not this is where we need to shift the mindset and the talk, right? This is not about a victory lap for SBF, or I mean for us over SBF. This is about what can we do to press the crypto space forward, because we are in trouble right now. This will be used for a narrative to hold down the crypto space. This will be used as a narrative to say crypto is the problem. No, crypto's not the problem, okay? The problem is, I spoke about this on the liberal media as well, the problem is greed. The problem is these greasy, grimy people that believe that they are entitled to your money, that can run a centralized exchange as if it were a slimy bank, and ultimately they don't care anything about you. There has never yet been a decentralized protocol that's out there, just out there after your money. No.
Buying properties with your money, and doing all kinds of liquidations and all kinds of crap. Ain't no decentralized protocol doing that.
Yeah, the decentralized protocol set up to be the market maker and the exchange, no liquidation point, so they could leverage trade as hard as they wanted to without ever losing. Yeah, that's just not a reality. That's greed from people and bad actors in the space. And so what needs to happen is, how do we as the crypto space, I want to throw this to everybody in the chat, how do we press the narrative forward in the right direction? I think we press the narrative forward in the right direction by reminding and keeping our voice heard in the fact that this is not the crypto space. This is someone in the crypto space. You always hear it. One bad apple doesn't spoil the bunch. Well, it actually can, right? And it does a lot of times. We cannot let that happen. We need to be a voice that we can do something different.
That it's not the technology, right? It's not the assets that are bad. It's people abusing these assets, right? And it's the same conversation that happens when you start talking about the Second Amendment, when you start talking about anything, right?
Yep.
That gets twisted real quickly. Like, oh, this did harm to this many people, it's bad. No, the person using these assets and using this technology did harm to people. So the assets are not inherently bad. Crypto is not inherently a scam. They are true assets to invest and grow a portfolio and create financial independence with. Just the fact that somebody, a centralized entity, used it, abused it, and hurt people does not make the technology or the assets at all the problem.
Yeah, so Daniel, what you said there, whoops, I didn't mean to pull it down. You said we need an audit committee, real talk. So Daniel, we actually have some things going on in the background. Again, this is another one of those conversations that kind of meant to be a quiet conversation, but there are things happening in the background that are pushing towards something very much like that. And I want to remind each and every one of you that this is about the people. This will be about the people. This will not just be a certain few. It's not just going to be Ben. It's not just going to be me and Crusader. We need people all the way from the person who invested $5 to the people who have invested hundreds of millions and everything in between. And so that includes each and every one of you that are watching the show tonight. Zach Nasty said, didn't Wells Fargo just pay another Billy in fines for fraudulent charges and repos? I did not hear this.
Yes,
did you?
they did.
Yeah?
They did. Just because they've been caught creating fake accounts and spreading money around and just making fake Fugazi stuff happen. But nobody talks about shutting the banks down. Nobody talks about how fraudulent the banks are and down with the banking system. No, banking system good. They make money. They pay their fines with the stolen money, and they keep on rolling.
Yeah. And ultimately, when you talk about what you just said, paid another $1 billion in fines, right? They're getting fined, which with the amount of money that they make, slap on the wrist, right? They just print the money anyway, play with interest rates. They have the ability to effectively make money with no money, period. There's a saying that always says it takes money to make money. Well, not if you're a bank, okay? Not if you are a bank.
It
You
takes
just continue
other
to
people's
make
money
money.
to make money.
OPM, other people's money, that's what makes you money. And so we want to see change. That's what we're here for. There's a reason that we come here 6 days a week, 7:30 p.m. So if you are new to the channel, welcome. We're super glad that you are here. It's a Wednesday night. You could be anywhere, but you're hanging out with Crusader and Keeper and earlier Bitboy. So thank you all for being here. There is a reason that we continue to shine the light on the political stuff that they don't want us talking about. There's a reason that we talk about the financial fraud that happens in the background. There's a reason that we just don't do and I say just, we need people to do crypto news, but there's a reason that we don't just do crypto news. Question everything, trust nothing. The whole thought process around that is opening your minds, opening your eyes, seeing what's in front of you, and understanding that there is a narrative that is trying to be jammed down each and every one of your throats. You need to be able to think for yourself. This is and has become the freaking matrix. So you going to take the red pill or are you going to take the blue pill? I think we all have an option. We all have a chance. We all have an opportunity that's sitting in front of us. I hope that each and every one of you takes it. So we love you, crypto fam. We appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Crusader has a big announcement for the giveaway that I almost forgot.
Baby. We
cannot. We got to do the giveaway.
We got to do the giveaway.
Biomex. Drawing.
They've been minting. They've been minting their asses.
They have been minting. I'm sorry.
So,
Keeper got lost in the Bahamas. Forgot about the giveaway. I'm back. All right, let's do it. What you got?
The winner. I was doing the drawing in the background.
By the way, Kenton won. For those of you that didn't know, Kenton won a fire starter like last week, I think. Yeah. So
yeah, it was like about a week or two ago.
Yeah.
So the winner of this week is the one, the only, Crypto Mike, baby. Let's go.
Crypto Mike.
Crypto Mike, hit us up in the Discord. Send us your info in a private chat, and you will be getting a fire starter tactical.
Yeah.
You know what I'm also thinking? That Ben was talking about his book deal. I think we go and we buy a few of these books ourselves and we give it away to our community members.
Yeah, that's a good idea. The book is literally taking somebody that knows nothing in crypto and introducing them, because as he talks about it, it's like, hey, if you just started watching our show or somebody else's show and we're talking about crypto, you probably get kind of lost if you knew nothing at all. Right. So I would encourage you guys to definitely check that out. Again, Ben said, I think he said, we say 50% off or something tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't remember what he said,
wild.
But whatever it is, I think we should pick up a good amount of these books and we're going to give them out to our community, because if you don't know the history of crypto, you're going to know it now. And, you know, at the end of the day, Ben's been around a lot longer than us in the content game. There's no way you can figure out the history of crypto without knowing Ben's side of the story and how things unraveled when he was doing the content. So definitely, I think it's a good giveaway for our holders.
Triple M Star, welcome to the channel. We're glad you're here. It is people like yourselves that come in and subscribe and then, you know, be a part of the squad. So welcome to the family. Make sure that you check out dangerclosealpha.com. That is where we have brought the prepper community together with the crypto and NFT community. Our artist works for DC Comics, so we've got dope art. We're giving people access to a 3-day prepper boot camp. We've got commodities that are minting right now. You literally could theoretically buy one commodity for 0.01 and win 5 Ethereum when we finish minting these out. So I don't know where else you can get a 500x return, but you know, we're trying to give it away to you here. So it is what it is. So
Yeah.
is that it?
So
We
get
good?
involved, guys. Get involved. We're trying to change the game. We know a lot of people have been hurting with what happened with FTX, Celsius, and the market being down in general. So 5 ETH giveaway. It's not just a giveaway. The competition is very interactive. You're gonna be divided into the different factions within our Discord, right? You're gonna be either a drunken merchant, a shadow hunter, a naked medic, right? An engineer. We're all gonna be competing. It's gonna be a very fun game. Somebody's gonna win 5 ETH. That's life-changing money for somebody. And you know, we're more than happy to give it away to our holders that have been supporting us. And you know, I'm excited. We're both excited to give away this 5 ETH. So make sure you get involved, mint out the commodities, and then we're going to be moving on to our characters with the real life utility coming in hot and heavy. Let me tell you, there's been some meetings happening in the background. I know you guys heard me talk about it. Some big meetings happening, some real life utility coming your way. So it takes time to build these things, but we're making it happen.
Yeah, we had a little meeting today. But with that being said, Crypto Fam, again, as I started to say earlier, we love you. We appreciate you, each and every one of you, for being here. You could be anywhere on a Wednesday night and you're hanging out with Keeper, Crusader, and Bitboy this evening. So we thank you for being here. Just remember, question everything.
Trust nothing.
And until next time, hodl.
Back in top, baby.
We'll see you soon.